Dreams. Well, I know a lot of people who've told me that they don't really have any dreams. What's actually happening here is that the next day morning when they wake up, they don't really remember their dream. Everyone has dreams, guys. But in this particular video, I'll not be talking about the dreams that you have while you're sleeping. I am talking about the dreams that you have while you're wide awake and aspiring to be somewhere, to get somewhere. If you're sitting in an interview and the interviewer asks you, what is your dream company? How do you go about answering this question? If you're interested in knowing, keep on watching. Hello you guys, welcome back to the Marketing Empress. Thank you so much for the 240 subscribers. On to the next milestone, that of 250 subscribers. So before we get into the content of this video, ensure that you like, share and subscribe to the channel by hitting the bell notification icon so that you guys are notified about the next video in this series. Now without further ado, let's jump into the content. This video will cover the following points. Number 1. What is the reason behind asking this question? Number 2. How to answer this question perfectly. And lastly, we'll look at a bonus tip. Let's start with the first one. What is the reason behind asking this question? Now, if you had this thought that the interviewer is asking you this question because he or she wants to hear his or her company name when you answer about this question, then you're sadly mistaken. That is not the case, guys. And God forbid, if you actually take the name of that company, it may act as a negative. Because you're trying to be sort of fake when you're trying to, just impress the interviewer. And the interviewer has taken multiple interviews. He or she is not going to fall into this trap. But what exactly is the reason behind asking you this particular question? The main reason behind asking this question is to understand your thought process and your future perspective. Now, what do I exactly mean by future perspective? What I'm trying to say here is that just think about it for a minute. An interviewer is hiring you. He or she is not hiring you for, say, a 6-month role or a 1-year role. They want you to stick around in the company. But how do they gauge in the start itself that you are someone who would be interested in the kind of work that the company has to offer? How committed are you? So by asking this question, they basically get a background on your futuristic path. Do you have a clear path in your mind, or are you just sitting for the interview just for the sake of it because, well, the company is paying you well or it's a good brand to be associated with? These are important things, but it's not something the interviewer is actually wanting you to join them for. The interviewer wants you to stick around right till the end. And by asking you this question, they are not looking for a specific answer. In fact, in most cases, if you do not really specify a company name, it may be a better option. Even if you just tell them the area or the kind of role that you're looking for, the kind of learning that you're expecting out of your dream company, then that is going to benefit you a lot more. Now let's move on to understanding how to answer this question perfectly. Now, of course, there is no perfect answer that can just fit for each and every candidate. However, there are some ground rules that you need to take into consideration while answering this question. The first and the most important part is, should you take a company name? And the clear answer to that is no. Why am I saying that you should not take a company name? That is because if you specify, say for example, as a marketing student, your dream company is to work for Hindustan Unilever. FMCG and marketing go hand in hand, and they are the most preferred choice for any marketing aspirant, right? What happens here is that if that company realizes that you've been very specific in your goal, that you eventually want to reach an HUL, but this is a mid-size FMCG company, then they clearly know that maybe you'll take some experience out here and try to move to an HUL. It may not be a negative, but what happens is that you're restricting your area or you're restricting your learnings as well. Alright, so that's a crucial point that you need to remember, that do not really mention a company name. But then how do we answer this question? We answer this question in a slightly diplomatic manner. Let me explain. What I mean by slightly diplomatic manner is that you talk about two things which are going to be extremely important in the interview. One is to talk about the benefits that you bring to the table when you are hired. Okay, so that impresses your interviewer. The second thing that you need to talk about is what kind of learnings are you going to derive after working for the company of that interviewer. So, as a matter of fact, when it comes to any job, there are certain things that you learn and there are certain things that the company benefits from, right? So, it's a mutual affair. When you are talking about a dream company, just mention the way it needs to be, keeping in mind these two parameters. I need to work for a company that is going to benefit me in my learning, that is going to give me ample opportunities to explore, learn, make mistakes and improvise. So a simple way to put it could be that I want to work for a company, or my dream company would be a company that is going to test me at various levels and where my knowledge is tested and improvised in the bargain. What this does is that the focus is not narrowed down, but the interviewer knows that you are someone who is looking out for learnings in the long run. Okay? If you simply talk about a particular company, you are not going to back it up as strongly. Whereas, when you don't name a particular company, it is going to benefit because that dream company could be in any sector, could be in any area, anything at all. But the focus is that company and your learnings. So, it shows the interviewer that you have a clear path that you want to take up. Lastly, let's look at the bonus tip. Well, normally when it comes to a bonus tip, I am either talking about the answer that I have prepared for my interviews, or I link it back to my website where I ask you to check out the blog post on the marketingempress.com. For this particular video, I am doing neither of those two things. I am doing something very different, something very special for this one. I'm going to take you guys through an experience that I have had in the recent past for one of the interviews when I was asked this question. And that's not it. The correct way of answering this question, which I spoke about a couple of minutes back, actually backfired in that interview. And I'm going to tell you how exactly I tried to tackle it at that point of time. Clearly, I am not going to name the company that I interviewed for, but when this question was asked to me and I answered it exactly the same way that I asked you guys to do it, it backfired. And I still remember the interviewer saying these words. Can we not look at a diplomatic answer? Can you just talk to the point? Now guys, let me put a disclaimer here. Do not take this in a negative manner. Why? Because this entire interview, irrespective of this particular question, was a stress interview. And when it comes to a stress interview, the interviewer is continuously bombarding you with questions, hoping for that one moment where you will actually break and give in. So, you need to be very careful in these particular interviews. And by then, this was towards the end of the interview, I already knew what the interviewer is hinting at. He wants me to break, but I did not. And I'll tell you how exactly I went about answering this question. Did I bend and just give them a company name? Well, clearly all of us have a dream company, right? You just don't want to name it. But looking at the kind of response that I got from the interviewer, did I bend in and just give him the name? No. That's the worst thing that you can do if you are put in a similar situation. Stand by your ground. Stand by what you believe in. What I did was, I simply answered by saying that I truly believe in this. I do not want to restrict myself to naming a particular company because that is also going to restrict my learnings in the future. Hence, my dream company will have specific traits, may not have a specific name. Now, guys, I actually cracked this particular interview. I am not saying that maybe this particular answer was the key to that to cracking that interview, but I hope you guys get the point. That if you've been talking in a particular way, do not budge or go back on your style of talking only because it's a stress interview and the interviewer is trying to hound you with a lot of questions. That's not how you need to go about it. So that's it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed and learned something out of it. So the next time around, whenever you're given or asked this question in an interview, I am sure you can write your own answer and crack and actually get into your dream company. If you've liked this video, share your valuable comments in the comment section below. This will motivate me to further make more such videos for you guys in the future. Before you leave, ensure you like, share and subscribe to the channel by hitting the bell notification icon, and I'll see you next time with 250 subscribers. Bye-bye.